We're going live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are subscribed, you know what's about to happen. We are live. We won't go through the whole bit like we used to, but we had to throw that out there because we did not announce this. For those of you who are subscribed to our channels, either over at Cheese's YouTube, which is what, Cheese?
At Football with Cheese, CHEEZ.
All right. And also, you can be subscribed to our YouTube channel, which is All Gloves Off Sports Media. You can do that as well. So, if you are, thank you for being with us. And if you're not, tell all the rest of your friends that they need to be, because every once in a while we're going to do breaking news, and you're not going to get it if you're not subscribed and you haven't hit the bell, or you just don't happen to be on Twitter. What are you looking at like that, Cheese? What happened?
So I got a text that it's not live on your X account.
That's not good. Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
I can fix that. So
Okay.
we want to lead with Kyler Murray. This thing's doing some crazy stuff.
We've had a lot of trouble. It's just lately technical difficulties. We'll figure it out.
Well, I know why. I tell you what. I want to lead with Arizona Cardinal stuff, but I want to get this, Cheese. The Arizona Cardinals are signing former Giant long snapper Casey Kreiter.
Oh my God. I thought he was not even, I listed like 15 places that he could go before then. Like when I had my whole list of every long snapper and what their destination could be. So I'm shocked.
Yeah, he just signed with Arizona. Let's see. He's 35 years old. Looks like he signed a 1-year deal.
You could be 50 and still be a long snapper. So age means nothing to that position. Of all the positions in the NFL, more than kicker or punter, more than Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, no position. You could be 60 and probably still long snap in the NFL if you really want to. I keep getting texts. People want to watch on your X, man. They don't want to.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. There is not a darn thing happening over here.
No, that's what I keep hearing.
Don't really know how to fix it.
Okay, well, we're on YouTube. We're on YouTube at Football with Cheese and at All Gloves Off SM, right?
That's correct. We're on with both of those. And then when we are done, I will take the YouTube feed and I'll put it over on my X. So you won't get to watch it live. You'll have to watch it taped. So I apologize for that. We've got all kinds of, we got crazy stuff going on here right at the moment. Let me click a couple buttons here because I can see where it says it's not working.
Well, yeah. So basically, while he's
doesn't
doing
look like it is, but
yeah, while he's doing that, we need to talk about Kyler Murray, and he was released today by the Arizona Cardinals, and anyone that signs him can pay him just the minimum, $1.3 million on your cap, which is one of the biggest bargains maybe in NFL history. He obviously was coming off injury, hasn't been the same last couple of years, but he's still better than at least a third, at least maybe more of the quarterbacks in the NFL. So Mike found this. We have some breaking news from a credible source. So if you want to go ahead whenever.
Sure. Let me click this one more time to try to see if I can get it to work. It doesn't look like it's going to work. So let me go to John Gambadoro. He is the source that I've got here. John Gambadoro works for 98.7 FM, the local radio station here in Arizona, where I get the privilege of being every day. As you can tell by my face, I've been in the sun for a while. I've been doing a lot of spring training stuff. So on the way home, I was listening to the broadcast, and then he put out a tweet. So let me read the tweet, and then we will go from there. So he is saying, and I'm going to quote it here from, again, John Gambadoro. You can get it at, oh, snot. That was not good. I just did that wrong. Hold on. This is just being a disaster today. I don't know how to get that back. Hold on. I hit the button.
I blame Mark DeRosa. I blame Mark DeRosa. He's the one you need to blame.
All right. So Gambo is... it's John Gambadoro. I'll get you his Twitter account here in just a second so you can go over and follow him if you want to. He says, and I quote, Kyler Murray will visit with Minnesota Vikings tomorrow. So we do know that he has a meeting set up with Minnesota tomorrow. As a starting spot is a priority, and Minnesota does offer that, and a deal could be done between Kyler and Minnesota in the next 24 hours. But the but is what we want to focus on. He says, but Murray and his camp are expected to explore several options as a backup in 2026 for teams that could need a starting quarterback in 2027 over the next 24 hours. Right. Boom. So this opens up a ton of other possibilities, Cheese. As you all,
Yes.
we talked about a little bit off the air before we came on here live. It opens up a lot of different things. Let's talk about what all it opens up. You know what team I want to focus on, so let's wait on that one a second. But give me a couple teams in your mind that Kyler could now sign with, and it'd be okay with him and his camp.
Are you waiting to talk about a West Coast team? Do you want to wait on that one?
I want to wait on that one. Let's wait on that one.
Okay, so there's some obvious ones. We still do not know what the Panthers think of Bryce Young. We
Correct.
don't know what the Texans are thinking about CJ Stroud. And they were the first and second pick 3 years ago. It's a big year for both of them. So if you're not sold on them, if you think either Kyler Murray may push them with competition or maybe he's an upgrade, then those teams could reach out to him. Once again, 1.3 million on the cap, which is nothing. So if he wants to be a backup, every team in the league, minus maybe 3 or 4, are probably going to call that have really good starter, really good backup. Like the 49ers do. But very rarely do you have a team that has really good starter and a really good backup. So I don't know if Carolina or Houston would do that. I don't know if they think it would not be good. It would not look, like we don't believe in our quarterback. But Vikings, yeah. But those are two possibilities. The Vikings. Do you want to talk about the Vikings now, Mike?
Sure. Let's go ahead and talk about the Vikings real quick. We got Viking Jerome 2438. He's with us. We appreciate him and everyone else that's with us right now. You can do what he did and go to the chat and just simply type stuff in. As long as you're going to talk about Kyler Murray like we are for the next few minutes before we get to a few more NFL signings that happened today, feel free to chat us away. So the Vikings, what's the difference here? They offer him a starting role. He would take over and J.J. McCarthy would be the backup. So that's what intrigues Kyler about that particular matchup or that particular, signing over there. But it's like you just said, he's going to get paid regardless. So I didn't really think about this until Gambo broke this on his radio show today. But why wouldn't you sit and wait? You're going to get paid anyway, right?
This is not a situation. It's such a unique situation. This is not where who's going to give me the most money. This is not Tyler Linderbaum, where he just wanted the most money. This is the best fit. Kyler Murray can pick his team pretty much. Whatever the best fit, because he's going to get the pay no matter what. Arizona's paying a salary. He's making a ton of money from them. I think he's got like something 36, 38 guaranteed. You probably might know better than me, but he can pick his team. So he is going to go to what he thinks is the best situation for him, not just this year, but going forward. Now, Minnesota, here's where it's getting interesting because everyone assumed he'd go to Minnesota. There are people saying 90% chance. What if they still think J.J. McCarthy is the guy? What if they just want Kyler Murray to come in for 1 year, be the starter? If he gets hurt, J.J. McCarthy comes in, just mentor him. Maybe McCarthy just needs development like Jordan Love. Jordan Love would not have been good if he had started in year 2 like McCarthy wasn't. He wouldn't have. Maybe he needs that development. And we just want him to start just this year. Minnesota has a very good roster. I think if you just take away the quarterback, I think they're top 10 roster in the NFL. And we saw they won 14 games the year before. They have a good team. But if that's the case, if they still believe in J.J. McCarthy, then Kyler Murray doesn't want to go there. He wants to go somewhere, it sounds like, where he's going to be starter going forward. He doesn't want to just go somewhere for a year and then keep moving on. He doesn't want to do the Joe Flacco. So maybe all of a sudden Minnesota might not be the ideal destination if and only if they still believe in J.J. McCarthy, which I have no idea what Kevin O'Connell, whoever the interim GM is, I forget his name, is thinking about JJ McCarthy, because he had about 2 or 3 really good games, and the rest of them he was terrible.
Mm-hmm. So let's look at it from the Cardinals standpoint here as well. So the Cardinals signed him to a $230.5 million extension back in 2022. That guarantees him this year, Cheese, $36.8 million from the Cardinals. They're going to pay him $36.8 million regardless as to what he does. Even if he doesn't sign with another team, he's still going to get that money. So again, that was a 5-year contract that included roughly $160 million, in guarantees. And by releasing him before March 15th, the Cardinals, believe it or not, avoided more money. You're like, what? They're paying him 36.8 and they avoided money? Yes, they did. By signing him, by releasing him before the 15th, they avoid the additional $17 million roster bonus that was in that contract. And that would have actually triggered $19.5 million in 2027. So by doing what they've done, they saved $17 million this year and $19.5 million next year, even though they owe him $36.8 million this year. Huh.
Got a good agent. Got a good agent.
He does.
Because it forced them to make a decision, keep him or cut him. So that's, yeah.
All right. So then now you're right. He's got the best of both worlds, right? He can go sign for whomever he wants, or he can just hang out. And he could
go to Buffalo if he wants and just be the backup to Josh Allen and say they're a contender. They might win the Super Bowl. He could do the same thing in Green Bay. He could go play behind Jordan Love if he really wants to. I doubt it. I don't think it's going to happen. So in the comments, don't freak out. he really could do. There's just about every team. There are teams that will want him to be maybe even mentor as a good backup. So he's got to be careful, though. Okay, I just thought of something. He's got to be careful.
So why does he have to be careful?
You don't. Okay, let's just say he goes. What does say the Titans want him to mentor Cam Ward? Okay.
Okay.
And he goes there, and they have a ton of cap room next year, and they franchise him. And then they try to trade him. So I doubt that would happen, but you got to be careful. Make sure you don't get stuck. That would be the worst case scenario, and then you can't sign anywhere else.
Obviously, by the contract that he signed with Arizona, or Arizona's just stupid, or a combination of both, he has a pretty good agent. So I'm thinking that agent is not going to let him get caught into something like that.
True. I'm just thinking outside the box. I'm trying to think every single scenario, because this is one of the most unique situations ever. It happened with Russell Wilson when Denver released him and he signed with Pittsburgh, but Kyler Murray's better and younger than Russell Wilson at this point. So I just think this is so unique, and he could go to New England, play behind Drake May. He could go to Seattle and play behind Sam Darnold if he wants, because they're one of the best teams. And one team we still haven't talked about. You ready to talk about them?
Well, let's do the Houston Texans first, because I don't think we've mentioned them. Oh, and by the way, I also want to make sure. So this was John Gambadoro who gave this information out. I want to make sure I give him all the credit in the world. And you can go follow him at Gambo. It's GAMBO 987, because he is one of the radio hosts for 98.7 FM here in Arizona. So it's Gambo 987 if you want to go do that as well. The team that we haven't talked about, well, there's a couple of them. Let's do the Houston Texans first, right? Okay. CJ Stroud, as you said last night when we had our show with Mr. First Down on here, if you guys haven't got a chance to do that, let me apologize. We've had some technical difficulties here with this particular program and stuff. Or honestly, it might be the guy who's doing all the programming over here on this side. But it did not go live on, go ahead and point to me. It did not go live last night on our YouTube. It went live on Cheese's YouTube, but it did not go live last night on the All Gloves Off Sports Media. It is now up. Our buddy Roger, who is with the Red Hot Reds podcast, and by the way, they're broadcasting live right now too. So as soon as you're done with us, hop over to them at the Red Hot Reds, and you'll be able to listen to them live as well. he fixed it for me, put it over on our YouTube spot. So if you go to YouTube and look at it, or if you're one of those people who's flailing around right now on X trying to figure out where it is, and I keep hitting the button and it keeps telling me that this is not a usual, let's see, this error occurred and it is usually only temporary. Keep hitting the button below, and I keep doing it and nothing different. So hopefully we'll get it eventually here.
You can't watch on your X is what you're saying.
Yeah, you can't watch on the X right at the moment.
But again,
YouTube, I will take the YouTube feed and put it over on the X as soon as we're done. So a couple things. Now, I got to apologize for that, but you can now get to it on YouTube, and you can go over to our X account and see yesterday's show on a tape delay as well if you want. So let's go back to what we're doing. CJ Stroud. Cheese, you said it on yesterday's show. He has gone down and down and down. Great rookie year and has not been good since then. Do you think that there would be a possibility that Houston would sign Kyler Murray and kind of push? I said on one of the shows that we had before this, when we were talking about free agents, that I thought Kirk Cousins should go to Houston to kind of push CJ Stroud. What if Houston decides to sign Kyler Murray to push CJ Stroud?
So you're right at the beginning of the show when you asked me, I mentioned the Texans and the Panthers, but okay. But
okay. Well, I'm over here clicking all these buttons, trying to get this thing to work on X, buddy.
Well, I'll go. We can just talk about CJ Stroud specifically. He has gotten worse each year. He had one of the best rookie seasons in NFL history for a quarterback. Probably only Jayden Daniels the next year was better. And he's just gotten worse each year. And he has not handled pressure well. And the offensive line's gotten worse. Now, they've made some additions this year. I think it's a better run blocking offensive line than pass blocking. I have a video coming out about that very likely tomorrow. I recorded a couple days ago. There's other stuff keeps happening. I had to make 3 videos today. So it's still not out, but I think the offensive line's better, but I think it's just still more of a run blocking offensive line. And Nick Caserio, the GM, I just don't understand. You have to know this year, this is the last, it's a 5-year deal. It's 4 years plus an option. You have to know by the end of year 4 if he's your guy, whether you're going to extend him. And for some reason, the offensive line's just gotten worse. And it's a problem. He traded Laramie Tunsil, had no solution to fix it besides a second-round rookie who had an up-and-down year. So Stroud, it's an unknown. And maybe competition is what he needs. Maybe he needs someone in there to light a fire in him. I don't know, but he has just not been handling pressure well, especially this past year. And the playoff game was a disaster against the Patriots. Absolute disaster.
Yeah, so I think there's a possibility that he could go there. But the real one that I want to talk about, and I know that, we were doing a little bit of this kind of off air before we came on. This is very, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this. So if I'm Kyler Murray, it's kind of like what happened with Trey Hendrickson today, right? I want to go, if I'm that mad at the organization that I was with, and Trey Hendrickson has got to be upset with the Cincinnati Bengals, whether he says it publicly or not. So he goes to the Baltimore Ravens, and he's like, okay, so you don't want me. You screw this all up. You try to get me to where I look like the bad guy. Well, now I'm going to go to your division rival, and I'm going to absolutely plant Joe Burrow in the ground 4 or 5 times a game, two games every season now. And I believe he signed a 4-year contract with the Ravens. So, yeah, Joe Burrow's got to be going, please don't hit me too hard. Just please don't, because he's coming after him, and I guarantee it. What if Kyler Murray has the same thought process, and he wants to do that, but he wants to go sign with the Los Angeles Rams? Jeez, let's have this discussion. Could Kyler Murray go to the Rams, and do the Rams give Kyler Murray what he wants, which is a backup role for this coming season, and then him possibly taking the reins next season?
Based on the report, this is the team that would make some sense. There was even a rumor Matt Stafford was only going to play 1 more year, but he's coming back next year. He had his best season of his career, won the MVP. He did have 2 of the best receivers in the NFL. He did have an offensive line that let him just stand in the pocket. It's a really good offensive line. But that would make sense for what Kyler Murray wants. And he would need assurances. Obviously, Sean McVay would have to decide. Do I think Kyler Murray's my franchise quarterback going forward? We've seen some good with Kyler Murray. We've seen some bad. We've seen injury issues. So I think it really comes down to Sean McVay. Is he a fit for my offense? Do I think he can stay healthy? And do I think he's still that franchise quarterback who was number 1 overall pick? If yes to all three, then I could definitely see him going to the Rams. He could just go to the Rams anyway, just to, spend the offseason with them, camp, try to prove it to them. Look, I can be that guy. And the Rams are one of the best teams in the NFL right now. They have one of the best rosters. They are a true contender. They improved in the secondary, which was a big thing for them. And they have the 13th overall pick because they got the Falcons pick in a trade last year. So I think it would be devastating for Vikings fans. They're counting on this. But if Kyler Murray really wants to do this, if he's okay being a backup and wants to prove it that he can be a starter and go to a team that quarterback may retire, then the Rams seem like the obvious fit.
Yeah, and as you just said, they've got a good offensive line, which means, and that's part of Kyler Murray's game, right? Get me to the outside and let me run. I'm sorry, I'm trying to type and because I want to do something else here in just a second.
They don't have a weakness on the offensive line. It's not just a good offensive line. I think offensive line play, if you have one or even two weaknesses, like the Patriots had two huge weaknesses in the offensive line, and everyone exploited it. They threw stunts at it, they threw blitzes at it, lined up their best rusher against it. When you have weaknesses on the offensive line, teams will exploit it. They don't have a weakness. All 5 guards are at least good or very good. Mm-hmm. And it's just so important. Even the Seahawks had one weakness on the offensive line, right guard. That's it. And they were still able to win the Super Bowl with that. So even just one weakness or zero is so big nowadays in the NFL because most teams have 2 or 3 weaknesses. Or, if you're the Chargers last year, you have 5 weaknesses.
Right. And let me give you the other wild card that we haven't talked about yet. And I'm not sure if you even, I know, but maybe you haven't put everything together yet, Cheese. Let me ask you this. Who is the assistant head coach of the Los Angeles Rams?
Who is assistant head coach of the Los Angeles Rams?
Mm-hmm. Well, you really don't know. Cliff
Kingsbury. Well, I know he's not the offensive coordinator.
No, he is. I was just looking it up.
Nate Shalehouse or whatever his name is. Yeah, was promoted to that position.
Right.
I forgot he joined the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a connection between Kyler Murray. He was his first head coach in the NFL at Arizona.
Correct. And he was, wasn't he also the coach at one of his stops in college, right?
I don't know. I don't think Kyler Murray ever played for Texas Tech. He was Oklahoma. He went to Oklahoma.
But didn't he transfer from Texas Tech? Man, I got to look this up now. So
somebody watching, look it up.
Okay, I've got the Rams stuff on one thing. Okay, so you look that part up. I'm going to tell you about the Rams and Cliff Kingsbury. So Cliff Kingsbury was hired as the assistant head coach for the Los Angeles Rams. And according to over at some of the Rams stuff that I'm looking at here, he joined Sean McVay's staff for the 2026 season, bringing his experience as a former Arizona Cardinals head coach and Washington Commanders offensive coordinator to aid in game planning and offensive development.
Okay, so Kyler Murray played at A&M and Oklahoma, but not Texas Tech.
Okay. All right. So there's got to be a point in every show where I'm wrong, so I guess we just got it out of the way quick.
Well, they hired him the year they drafted Kyler Murray, and the reason they hired him is because they saw his offense in college, and they're like, this fits really well with the way Kyler Murray plays. Like Kyler Murray's a unique player. He's short, and he's really athletic. He's mobile, but most teams don't run an offense that suits him. So that's why they hired Cliff Kingsbury, is because he fits the offense that he ran in college. So that's why I hired him from Texas Tech. I remember when Cliff Kingsbury was a quarterback at Texas Tech. I remember that.
Wow. It's the first time I think you've ever shown your age on this show. Stop it.
Okay, so Cliff Kingsbury was at Texas A&M, but it was before Kyler Murray was there. But maybe there was some connection. He was the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M in the past. Okay.
Okay.
Showing
Is
my
that somebody
age.
send you a message?
Look,
Is it?
look, he is in his 40s, so it's not like he was in college like 25 years ago, so something like that. Okay.
All right. Okay, so we broke the Kyler Murray news. It's not really breaking news, and that's, guys, we've said this to you before. It's not really what we try to do. We're not trying to yell and scream and be like, oh, guess what we got? No, we're trying to be smart analysts and give you news that makes a difference. We haven't seen anybody else talking about this. We were scouring the internet and stuff before we came on the air. So is it kind of breaking news? Yes, but it was really done by John Gambadoro. We thank him for that. And then we're just kind of talking about it out loud and running with it and sharing it with all of you because it makes a difference in what you guys do, all of you guys who are some great sports fans, particularly NFL fans. Now, are we done with the Kyler Murray stuff? You want to move on to some signings, sir?
I want to move on to some signings, and I want to start with Trey Hendrickson. How pissed are you as a Bengals fan that he's with the Ravens?
I don't know how to feel right at the moment. I kind of knew when all this stuff broke last night that this was coming. It almost looked inevitable. Yep. So, I mean, so the way I look at it is this. I'm not upset with Trey Hendrickson, but I also think the Baltimore Ravens kind of did the Raiders dirty. They agreed to this. They were probably talking to Hendrickson the entire time. They figured out, you know what, we can sign Hendrickson to a pretty good deal. They got him. I mean, I'm sure he was going, nope, 30 million. Nope, I want 30. Nope, 30. And they finally got him down.
I thought it was closer to 34, 35 originally. I think that's why he waited to sign. I think he wanted at least 34, 35.
So they got him down. And once they got him down, they were like, okay, so let's think about this. We can sign him. We can have our edge rusher. And if we renege out of this trade, we can have our picks back too. And they said, yeah, let's just say the heck with this Max Crosby trade. So everybody knew that Max Crosby was not healthy and he was not going to be healthy, or at least not going to be able to play. Let's not say not healthy. That makes it sound worse. He was not going to be able to play till later on in the season anyway. So what did they think they were going to get off of medicals?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be ready to start the season, but yeah, in the off season, he's not ready for, he had meniscus surgery 2 months ago. But they knew that. But
do you think he'll be ready for the season?
Yeah, he'll be ready for the season. It's just meniscus surgery. It's not ACL or anything like that.
Oh, well, my understanding was he was not going to be ready for the season.
Oh, he is. He is. So here's the point. I made a whole video about this. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel at Football with Cheese. I actually made a 14.5-minute video going over every scenario. I basically went down. There are 3 main scenarios that I went over and what happened. So I'm not going to spoil. I picked one at the end. But the one point I make in the video is the Ravens knew about this knee injury. They knew he had surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a problem with that at all, why trade for him? Unless the doctor found something in there, which we should know about, like it would have probably broke in national news that, oh, he has some kind of bone on bone or some kind of cartilage that's going to be long term. He's not able to play. His career could be over soon. We haven't heard any of that. If that's true, the Ravens probably would have leaked that to let them know, look, this is why. So I'm with you. Like this stinks. This is a situation where it's very possible maybe the owner was pushing this. And then when Trey Hendrickson's price came down to a comfortable level for Baltimore, $28 million per year. Well, he was asking for 35, 36. Oh, well, we could keep our 2 first-round picks, the 14th overall this year and our first next year, and sign a player that's probably same level, just as good. Hey, doctor, fail this guy. Fail him. And I go over another scenario as well, besides it being legit. He failed the physical. And the one we just discussed, I go over a third option on my video, so make sure you check it out. I released it about 3 or 4 hours ago at Football with Cheese. But this stinks. And Eric DaCosta, he did a press conference after I recorded the video, and he just acted so sad. And he played the victim. Oh, I wanted him there. He just played the victim. And the insiders on Info Network, like, oh, you could tell he cared. He wanted this to happen. And then he said something like, I wanted Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby. I wanted both. bullshit. There's no way you could have afforded both.
Right.
He's just lying. He just lied. He just was sad. He played victim. Whenever someone plays victim, you know they're in the wrong. Whenever they come out there and they act like, oh, I try. I mean, they're showing him NFL Network right now. He just looks so. Oh, he's such a liar. It's total BS. You're right. They changed their mind, and they found a way to get out of it because this is better for them. It's better to keep those draft picks and sign Trey Hendrickson than to trade for Max Crosby, because Hendrickson, even though he's hurt this past year, he has been more durable in his career than Max Crosby.
I'm glad you just set me up. We haven't talked about any of this stuff beforehand, and I hope this isn't the third thing, because I was at a spring training game all day. I came home, I ate, I spoke to my wife, who's barely seen me for this week, even though I've been off all week. And I was like, hey, do you mind?
You're in trouble, buddy.
Talk to Cheese and so I looked at her before I came in the room here, and I was like, hey, I'll see you in about a half hour. And she goes, yeah, I'll see you in an hour and a half. And so let's not do an hour and a half, okay?
But no. I mean, I'm gonna have to cook. I have steak quesadillas that are waiting for me. So
no chicken today?
Only chicken 5 nights a week. Tomorrow I'll have chicken.
Okay.
Don't worry. Yeah.
But Max Crosby, all right? Max Crosby, I remember Billy Hamilton in baseball, who was addicted to the painkillers and the drugs and the alcohol, and then he turned his life around, and everybody was like, oh, you are such a wonderful man. And I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but the problem is he abused his body for years being on all of those substances. And Max Crosby is the same kind of thing. He admitted to the fact that he was addicted to a bunch of other things. He finally got clean. In fact, just a few days ago, he put out a message that said 4 years sober. So, Cheese, let me ask you this. Would you not want to trade for Max Crosby because you're afraid of his durability?
As far as his addiction? As far as his addiction goes?
No, I mean, just because, so maybe, maybe it's my, I don't want to do too much of this here, but
okay.
But I'm afraid
you're talking about like all his injuries. He's had knee issues in multiple seasons. He's had a hand issue. He's had a labrum, which is like a shoulder, like a torn shoulder. So since his rookie year, which he didn't have any issues, he's had some kind of issue every year. It's been ankle. He has an ankle as well. So we just talked about that. Okay,
rewind the show back and you'll get your answer. But
we think there's a less chance than there was. We think that
there we go.
That the chance has gone down because he can pick his team, because every team will pay $1.3 million because Arizona's paying a salary basically. You just have to pay the minimum. We think that he wants a guaranteed starting job. He wants to be guaranteed the job going forward, not just this year, from JJ McCarthy. And so that might be the holdup. If the Vikings still believe in McCarthy, then he might not sign there. That's what we're thinking. If they tell him, well, no, McCarthy's our guy, then I think the chances of him being a Viking have pretty much gone way down. But yeah, I think it's possible. And that could be okay. When the Crosby trade was reported, and both teams should have done a better job not letting it get out because of situations like this. But a lot of people, and not just fans, not just content creators like you and me, but media people saying, oh God, they gave up way too much. And they're just like, there's hearing that over and over again, seeing it on X, hearing it from their fans. Like, we give up way too much. And they might've said, oh no, we can't give up all that much. We gave up as much or maybe more from Mike that the Cowboys gave for Micah Parsons. So we have to stop it. So, I just, I don't know what to say. The Max Crosby thing, it's
I guess
crazy.
What I'm trying to do here is your body can only take so much, right? You can only abuse your body for so long. And even if you only abuse it for a few years, it's going to take its toll later on in your life. And I'm wondering if this is not the later on in his life, because he's had so many different injuries. All I'm saying, Cheese, is I would be leery of signing him to a huge contract, and I would be even more leery to give up a whole bunch of stuff, a bunch of picks, and have to pay that contract for a person that I know has abused their body in the past.
Yeah, J.J. Watt got to be like 31, 32, and his body was just done. J.J. Watt was one of the most dominant defensive players I've ever seen in my life. Almost not Reggie White level, but close. That's how good he was in his prime, but his body just ran out of gas. Like he had nothing left. His back was done. So, yeah.
And I'll shorten the name to GOAT, right? Because I don't know what all that is in front of GOAT, but I'll shorten it to GOAT. We appreciate you chiming in with us, sir. We do very much so. This is what Minnesota's going to have to decide. This right here that we just put up. Are they going to go with Kyler Murray? And is he going to be their guy for the next few years? Or do they want Kyler Murray to just be a bridge quarterback until J.J. McCarthy can take over? If that's the way they want to do it, I'm not sure if Kyler is going to go there. And Kyler's camp is the one that leaked this today to John Gambadoro, by the way. I won't explain to you how I know all that, but I do. So if Kyler Murray's camp is who's going to put this out, then are they putting out something like this just in case he doesn't sign with them? That would be my question behind all this. One of the reasons why we wanted to come on here and do this. But no, we thank you. Thank you very much for being with us, sir. We appreciate you.
The thing is, we just don't know. I don't know what Kevin O'Connell thinks about J.J. McCarthy. I don't know if
general manager of the Minnesota Vikings.
The head coach. He's the head coach. General manager was
the head
crazy. He got fired, and they have an interim GM. But I just don't know. And they're not going to tell you either way. He's not going to say, "Oh, we're giving up on him, man. This guy sucks," you know. So,
right.
In case, what if he does have a breakout? What if he has this amazing preseason, and it finally clicks? What if he puts more touch on the ball? What if he starts reading defenses better? So you just don't know. He has talent. McCarthy, no doubt, has talent. Appreciate that.
Yeah, we really do. Thank you very much.
But Trey Hendrickson. As soon as the news broke last night that, happened an hour before this show, before our regular show on Tuesday night, I didn't get to eat my chicken until after. So I ate my chicken almost 11 at night last night because I had to make a video about it. We pretty much knew Trey Hendrickson's probably going to sign with Baltimore. And we knew, and he did. And it just makes it look so, I just don't see how it's possible that the Raven doctor said, it's so bad. His knee is so bad. You can't possibly do this trade. We have to cancel it. And then boom, less than 12 hours later, Trey Hendrickson, 4-year contract.
Trey Hendrickson.
His asking price has gone down all of a sudden. It just too many coincidences. It just, there's no way. I'm not buying it. I think Eric DaCosta, especially that press conference, I watched it today and I just playing the victim, looking so sad, acting like I wanted this. Oh yeah, no, you totally screwed the Raiders, and the Raiders get screwed because they're not going to get nearly as much in any other trade with Crosby. Pretty much have to trade him because it's just they're headed for an exit. They need to move on from him, especially with the free agents they signed. So they've lost leverage because any team will say, "Oh, but he failed that physical. Like he's hurt, he's banged up. We can't offer that much." So they really screwed the Raiders up.
You and I know that. You and I know he was not going to pass a physical yesterday.
Yeah,
there's no
way.
They
knew that. They knew that going in. They knew that when they traded for him. They knew that. So. Yes, but the third reason we still haven't talked about, I want you to check out my channel, my video on it at Football with Cheese. And Mike will hopefully watch that tomorrow on his way to work. Oh, that's right. You're not working tomorrow. On his way to baseball.
Okay. I'll watch it tonight when we're done here in a little bit. But I know you made another video today too, because I saw it come up on my timeline. I just haven't got a chance to watch it. There was a guy who signed with the Packers today that you probably want to talk about. Who was that? And what we got going on there?
Javon Hargrave. I sent you a stat on your X. I don't know if you saw it. You love stats, but Javon Hargrave was released by the Vikings. Vikings had cap room. Hargrave had a solid year. He had a good year. He didn't have like the amazing years he used to have with the Eagles when he was in his prime. He's 33, but it's a really good signing for Green Bay. They needed another defensive tackle, another basically 5 technique besides Devontae Wyatt because they're switching to a 3-4 that can rush the passer. That was a big problem. Devontae Wyatt got hurt. They did not have another interior pass rush presence. And it's been a problem really for years. So Javon Hargrave it's just an upgrade. And he's a veteran. And it just bring another leader in the locker room. I love this move. And it doesn't hurt compensatory picks because he was released. If someone is released by another team, when you sign them, it won't hurt your compensatory pick allocation. So it's just a great move. Did you see the stat?
No, I'm gonna look at it right now.
All right,
Actually,
I'll just go ahead and say it.
okay.
In the last 3 seasons, highest quick pressure rate. Quick pressure rate means you have a quick first step, you get a pressure right away, like with less than 2 seconds. Number 1 in the NFL is Chris Jones for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's probably the least surprising person you would, obviously Chris Jones, amazing pass rushing defensive tackle. Javon Hargrave is second. Okay.
Wow.
Jeffrey Simmons, Titans, another really good player, is third. So he's higher than Jeffrey Simmons. Aaron Donald is fourth. Didn't even play last year, but still. DeForest Buckner is fifth. If you just take those 5 guys, Chris Jones, Jeffrey Simmons, Aaron Donald, DeForest Buckner, all considered some of the best in their position, but Javon Hargrave was actually second on that list. So he has really been effective the last 3 years. And like I said, he had a good year with Minnesota, not great, but good. And it just upgrades the position for the Packers. So I'm pretty stoked.
Cheese, do you remember Pac-Man Jones?
Yes, former Tennessee Titan and Cincinnati Bengal and
Correct.
Dallas Cowboy. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, with all of those things. So I follow him on my X account because I love to see crazy people doing crazy things. He is, I don't have it. I can't listen to it right at the moment, but I'll put it over on our X account right now for people who can't get there to watch this show. They can watch 34 seconds of Pac-Man Jones ranting and raving, saying that he has really good sources that the Bengals are about to sign Max Crosby.
Wait, one more time.
He's saying
sign.
That
you mean trade for?
Trade for, yes.
Okay, I was gonna sign. Did he? I don't believe that. I don't believe it because if they wanted, they would have just kept Trey Hendrickson and paid him. Why give it draft capital and take on the money? I don't believe it, especially signing Bowie Mafe. I don't believe it for a second. I think he's just having fun.
He could be, because that's the way Adam Pac-Man. That's why I said, do you remember Adam Pac-Man Jones? I started my sentence off that way. So, what about? Why can't you people name your stuff? Things I can say. Welder's Fence. Is that what that is?
Yeah. He was. He or she. I guess it was he. Was on last night. So. I just don't think Mike McCarthy wants to put up with Jameis Winston. I love Jameis Winston. I love how positive, how fun he is. I don't love how he just chucks the ball up for anyone to catch. But I think he's just a fun guy. I think he'd be a good locker room. I just don't think I don't think Mike McCarthy wants to fool with him, to be honest with you. But I mean, it's possible. But I don't. Knowing Mike McCarthy, I don't think he wants. He wants the least amount of drama, the least amount of characters as possible. He wants everyone to come do their job and just not spout off. That's what Mike McCarthy wants. Trust me.
That sounds
controversy. No controversy whatsoever. Another one I want to mention, but yeah, I actually made 3 videos today. Trey Hendrickson reaction video, and I did the whole, like I said, over 14-minute video about all the possibilities, what happened, what I think, my theory, Ravens, Raiders, Max Crosby. And then I made the Javon Hargrave video, instant reaction.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a trade today that's really interesting. So the Cowboys gave big money to Oze Odighizuwa. He's an interior pass rusher. He's undersized, so he's a designated interior pass rusher. Doesn't play early downs. They gave him big money because he had a monster 2024, and he just wasn't as effective last year for whatever reason. They did switch defenses, got a new defensive coordinator, and now they have a whole nother one after that too. They third defensive coordinator in 3 years. He was traded to the 49ers for a 3rd-round pick. The 49ers had probably the worst defensive line play in the NFL last year, and they needed help all along it. Nick Bosa got hurt, and their 1st-round pick got hurt. The pass rusher from Georgia, Michael Williams. Okay, I almost forgot his name. So, but defensive tackle was a disaster. Their defensive tackle group was bad. So they add Oze Odighizuwa and give him a 3rd-round pick for him and take on the money. So 49ers obviously were really high on him. I think that's a pretty significant trade. And once the Cowboys traded for Quinnen Williams, he was probably expendable. But the Cowboys getting a 3rd-round pick back is big for them because they didn't have a 2nd or 3rd-round pick going into the draft. 2 1st-round picks, but not a second or third. So I thought that was pretty significant trade. I just want to bring that up.
Okay.
And
so let me give you the Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals did sign someone today, but let me give you what General Manager Monty Austinfort said about the release of Kyler Murray. This is official right from the team's site here. It says, with today's start of the new league year and transactions now official, I like how they did that, we want to thank Kyler for everything he has done for this organization over the last 7 years. I can't believe it's been 7 years since they got Kyler Murray. We are extremely grateful for his contributions both on the field and off, and we wish him nothing but the absolute best moving forward. So that was the Cardinals' official, I guess, goodbye to Kyler Murray this afternoon.
Yeah, there was another signing. Do you see Bradley Chubb to the Buffalo Bills?
No, I did not.
3 years, $43 million, 29 guaranteed. I don't love that move. Why not just keep Joey Bosa on another 1-year deal? Bradley Chubb, he's had trouble staying healthy, and he really wasn't effective when he was healthy this past year. Probably his worst season. And you gave him 29 guaranteed on a $43 million deal. He is younger than Bosa, but I just don't know what Brandon Beane's doing. I just think he's ruining Josh Allen's prime. I don't like most movies. I did like the DJ Moore trade. I think he's a perfect fit in Buffalo. I don't like giving up a second-round pick, getting a fifth back. I think that's too much, but I get it. They needed a receiver, so that move I did like, but most of the moves he makes are just not good. And the Bills keep losing the playoffs, and it's not because of Josh Allen. It's because of other big holes on the roster. So I really, really think that's an overpay. I just don't like that move. They better hope he stays healthy and returns to form from a couple of years ago.
All right, so just so everybody knows as well, we are now live on X. So I kept hitting the button and it eventually worked. So yes, we are now over on our X account, All Gloves Off SM. If you want to go back over to there, you can now see it on that platform. I don't know if it's going to give us the whole thing or if I will have to do something different. But we'll take a look at it here in a little bit, and I already see the numbers are just shooting up. So everybody must have already figured it all out. So we are now live on our X account as well as our YouTube, my Facebook, and we are now live on Twitch as well.
Why not? Jameis Winston, the Bengals, backing up Burrow. Why not?
Why not?
Actually, he'd be a perfect fit there. Like I said, he likes to just chuck it up. And you have two receivers who will go up and get anything. You have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They win when they're every time you watch them with man coverage and they throw it up. Those guys win. So why not? Jameis Winston to the Bengals. I think he's still under contract with the Giants, though. I think he still is.
Is he?
Could be wrong. Could be wrong. I thought he signed a 2-year deal. Could be wrong. But he's just a fun dude. I've never seen a player in my life just always smiling on the sideline. He is always happy, always smiling. That dude is he's just a happy dude.
Right. So for those of you who are just joining us, and a lot of people are, I can see the numbers climbing. So we have looked at the Kyler Murray situation, just, went back at the beginning. We explain all of it. We lay it all out for you guys. We're just not sure where Kyler's going to go now. There are a lot more teams that have opened up with something that his camp said today. So we wanted to extenuate that. We wanted to take a look at it. And I know you guys all do too. So just rewind this back to the beginning. And if you can't do that on X, I don't know how that's going to work, but I will put the feed from the very beginning off of our YouTube channel over to my X account or our X account that I run at All Gloves Off SM. Go ahead, Cheese.
And we'll get it on my X account for next week's show. My X account was hacked a couple months ago, if anyone didn't know. So we're still trying to get it back on my X, get it all figured out. I had to set up all these 2 factors and all this security to make sure I wasn't hacked again. So we'll get it back on my X, hopefully by next week's show.
Yes, so we will work very feverishly to do that. So, all right, buddy. Bam Knight was signed by the Arizona Cardinals today. I know it's a huge signing. I saw your hair just whoop back when I said it.
Zonovan. I call him Zonovan.
Running back.
Zonovan, that's his name. I call him Zonovan. I know you call him Bam. That's his nickname. I call him Zonovan Knight.
Zonovan Knight. Okay.
That's his birthday.
So now they've got.
Did you not know that?
No, I really didn't.
That's what his name. Yeah, Bam is a nickname. Zonovan is his name.
I will have to say though, Cheese. So now you've got Oh my goodness. James Conner. There we go. You've got Connor. You've got the running back from Atlanta that they just signed.
Tyler Algier, and they have Trey Benson, who's a
right,
big and fast. Does he
You've
have
got,
great vision? No. Does he have great agility? No, but he's big and he's fast. So anytime he could just run you over and just go. So that's a great room.
right. But I wouldn't think all four of those guys make it to the 53. Do you really think all four of those guys are going to make it?
Yeah, I mean, Zonovan, bam. Probably might be the odd guy out, even though they signed him. It's probably for something they can get out of. But I could see them carrying 4 running backs. I could. No more than 4, but I could see them doing that. And it's possible because they signed Algier, they might at the end of camp, they could have shot Benson. It's possible they could do that as well. So I think there's 3 possibilities. Bam Knight doesn't make it. They shop Trey Benson, or they just keep 4 backs.
Okay.
And I want to mention.
You want to talk about as far as signings go?
Well, I just want to mention this. He's a guy I just really like and respect, and I hate that he's on a rival of my team. But Aaron Jones re-signed with the Packers after his first contract expires, and took at the time it was 4 years, $48 million, which sounds like a lot for running back, but he was offered more. But he chose to come back to Green Bay for less money. Then after 2 years, they said, we asked you to take a pay cut. And he did. He lowered his salary by like $5 million to stay with Green Bay. And then they asked to make another pay cut. And he said, no, that second time he said no. And they released him. No problem. Goes to Minnesota, has a good year there, signs a 2-year contract. After year 1, this past year, the rumor is they're going to release him. They asked him to take a pay cut. He does. $5.5 million pay cut. He has taken less money or taken a pay cut combined 3 times in his career. Love the dude. He was such a great leader for the Packers. When they released him, they missed him in the locker room. He was a team leader, great locker room guy, and he just did it again with Minnesota. You just don't get players like that in the NFL that are willing to take less money 3 times in their career. And so shout out to him. Just such a great dude. Wish he didn't play with the Vikings, but I get why the Packers released him to sign Josh Jacobs. It was an upgrade, but I just wanted to mention that about Aaron Jones. Cool dude.
Yeah, there's some guys that we just like because we like who they are, right? They're, like you said, they're great guys. And even if they go to a different team or whatever, there's plenty of people like that in baseball, football that I follow that are like, you know, I like that guy, even though he doesn't play for my team anymore. I still like Trey Hendrickson, just not two times out of the football season. I won't like him.
You like him when he's hitting Aaron Rodgers and not
There you go. I will like him when he hits Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, darn right about that.
I still remember Dontavian Wicks is a wide receiver for the Packers going in his 4th year. He dropped a 4th down play right to him his rookie season.
Okay.
Dropped a 4th down play, hit him right in the chest. And he immediately put his head down and was just walking down the sideline. His head was down. He knew he could cost the team. It was early 3rd quarter, a game they were losing. And Aaron Jones saw that on the sideline. He wasn't on the field, ran onto the sideline, grabbed him by the helmet, picked his head up, like his chin was down, picked his head up, said something to him, tapped on the side of the helmet, said something like, we're going to go get it. We're going to win this game. We're going to get it next time. Dontavian Wicks caught a big 3rd down later in the game, and they came back and won that game. So I just remember Aaron Jones. I just remember he does little things like that. So he's just such a cool dude. Right. I wish Kyler all the best. Yeah,
this guy that follows us on X, I've talked to him several times. In fact, I thought we were going to do more stuff together, buddy. Get with me, all right? Message me, direct message me, because I had some big plans. We'll see if we can still do those. So talk to me, Cast Fan One. You know we've talked a few times before. So thank you for being on here with us. Appreciate it. Our numbers have basically doubled in the last 5 minutes. So the X thing was a big
right at
deal.
The end. At the end of the show.
Towards the end, yes. So I apologize, but we did all we could there, and at least we got you a little bit of the end of it. So, all right. So we've got all these signings. It's almost over, Cheese. So we're close to an hour here. Let's do one more thing before we're done, and then we'll shut it down. All right.
Okay.
What's been the surprise of free agency for you so far, whether good or bad?
I think my biggest surprise is Rasheed Walker has not found a job, or Taylor Decker. Both left tackle. There's 2 left tackles just way better than anyone else. And they can't find a job, or they're not getting paid what they think. And I think that's the biggest surprise, because left tackle, you could argue it's a top 5 position, maybe top 3 most important position in the NFL. So it's just very surprising that a good left tackle and Rasheed Walker. Taylor Decker used to be a very good left tackle. Past his prime, has some injury issues, but still, he is still better than at least half the left tackles out there. Same with Rasheed Walker. He's a good pass blocker, not a great run blocker. So it's just surprising, with all the teams that need to keep their quarterbacks upright, that those guys have not signed, to me. And Jawan Jennings, 49ers receiver too. Surprised he is not signed. One of the better possession receivers in the NFL.
I'm glad you brought up the 49ers, because I know I said one more thing. Let me do one more thing. Brandon Ayuk is getting ready. I like you too, buddy. Brandon Ayuk is getting ready to get released by the 49ers as well. Am I putting you too much on the spot? Do you know how that's going to work and what could happen with him?
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, he pretty much got hurt and then decided not to even late in the year show up to the facility anymore. He just wanted out. He got paid and just checked out. I think there are 2 teams that are possibilities. The team I would have said to most likely sign Romeo Doubs. That's a Patriot, so they're probably out. But I think he's headed to Washington to pair with Terry McLaurin. And the Adam Peters, the GM of Washington, used to be assistant GM in San Francisco, so knows him well, and he'd be a good fit for that offense. So I think he'll end up in Washington, who's, maybe the most improved defense in the NFL could be Washington Commanders. Just the additions they have added. So I would be shocked if he ended up anywhere else. It just seems like
let me give you a couple more. Doesn't Tampa Bay have to replace Mike Evans?
No, they don't really have to. It was kind of a luxury. I think that's why they didn't offer him as much money. They drafted Emeka Egbuka last year. You have Chris Godwin. You have Jalen McMillan. You have Tez Johnson, 7th round pick. Really had a good rookie year. They don't have that big tall receiver. None of those guys are really that big. But no, I mean, they're still deep there. That's one thing. It was taking Egbuka was just best player on the board, not a need. It was like, this guy is still here at 19. Okay. We have other needs. We have pass rush need, but we're just not going to pass on Emeka Egbuka. And he was one of the best rookies last year.
For those of you who have not looked at the short over on our YouTube channel, you can do that. We have another team that Cheese and I spoke about a couple of shows ago, earlier this week, because we're both off this week, so we keep going, hey, we got to talk about this, hey, we got to talk about this, let's go live, hey, we got to talk about this, and we've done it every day this week. I've seen Cheese more than I have my wife, so
she's gonna love that.
She is gonna love that. I'm sure she's loving it right now, because she's going to be right when she was like, oh, I'll see you in an hour and a half. And I was like, no, it won't be that long. But all the prep that I did beforehand and then the show going about an hour, she's going to be right. And I'm going to have to tell her that's going to be awful for me. But what about Buffalo and Brandon Ayuk?
It's possible. I don't think that's as good a fit as Washington. They already got DJ Moore. They're very similar type receivers. So what they really need, what Buffalo really needs, is a bigger type receiver, in my opinion, more, to complement DJ Moore. And Khalil Shakur in the slot, DJ Moore down the field threat. They need more of a underneath, like possession, more of a bigger possession, because Keon Coleman hasn't worked out. So I don't necessarily love that fit, but I mean, it's possible. Brandon Ayuk is very talented. Let's be honest. He is extremely talented receiver. When he had his breakout year with the Niners, he was top 15 wideout in the NFL. It's just the attitude and the injuries are the big issue. But I mean, it's possible that he wants to play with Josh Allen.
But those are big issues, though, and I'm sure there's a lot of teams who won't touch him because of both of those issues.
Yeah, I think so too. And and that's why 49ers went and got Mike Evans, because they lost Jawan Jennings. They're losing Jawan Jennings, and obviously Ayuk didn't even play for him.
All right. I think we've about pretty much covered it, buddy. I appreciate you coming on with me. We did this like spur of the moment kind of thing. Thank you guys over on X, by the way. We've been on there for like maybe 12 minutes, and we're already, we are now up to, by the way. Thank you all for this as well. Let me go over here and make sure that I'm not going to misspeak here. I am 1 follower away over on All Gloves Off SM on X from being at 7,900. So let's do it this way. We're 101 followers away from being at 8,000, and we appreciate all of you for doing that. What I was getting to is we follow all of those people. We've been on our X for about 12 minutes now, and we're already the top. We're already the top show on all of those. Between all those 8,000 people we follow, we're already #1. So thank you guys. We appreciate you. You guys are just showing us how much you love everything that we do, and we love you all right back. Cheese, you want to add anything to the end?
Yeah, I just want to say that I hope the Packers go call. I know you got Javon Hargrave. Go get Calais Campbell too. Double down. Take a position of weakness and make it a strength. Get as many bodies there as possible. Calais Campbell, the Packers, make it happen, please. Please make it happen.
All right. So you know what Cheese's wish is as we end everything. We know what our wish is. You guys come back and see us next time right here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. Thank you all very much for doing so today. And as we say at the end of every show, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base lines. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for being here.